Hi, everyone. Andy Cook from Harbor Foodservice again. I am one half of Harbor's restaurant consulting group. My focus is on front of house and operations. My partner, Chef Derek Bugge, his focus is culinary and back of house. So when we're out in the field meeting clients, we're usually talking about very different things. But every now and then, something comes up that seems to be a theme that a lot of people are concerned about. And so when that happens, we naturally assume that this is probably something that's on a lot of people's minds. So we're going to devote the time and energy to encapsulate it and provide context and resources and information that we hope helps you. Today, we're going to be talking about King County's vaccine mandate for guests. Now, while we're going to be encapsulating this within the rules and the structure that King County has provided, we feel it's important for people outside of King County to A, be aware of it, and B, help maybe be prepared for something that could be coming your way. With holiday travel coming up, there's a chance that case rates could start to climb again, and this is the natural next thing that will probably be regulated as opposed to a shutdown or a seating limitation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift over to some slides. I had a conversation with King County's Chamber of Commerce Economic Development people. I won't name names, but they're the guys that are in charge of putting all this together and developing these resources. And so I had a nice Q&A with them. I'm going to distill it in this presentation, and it kind of carves out all the large outdoor events and gymnasiums and movie theaters and things like that and makes it more restaurant specific. So let's jump into the slides. Who is required to show proof of vaccine or a negative test and where? The answer is people that are 12 and older, and it's for indoor dining. So if somebody is coming in for counter service, you're fine. You don't need to worry about the vaccine mandate. If somebody is picking up takeout, also fine. It's pretty much rule of thumb. If they're going to plant their butts in your seats and stick around for a drink or a meal, they need to have their proof of vaccine. Now, here's an exception: people with disabilities. People with disabilities who may not have access to or the ability to show a vaccine or a test status may verbally communicate, and they should be allowed to do so. You should take them at their word. What people must show is a card that shows that they are fully vaccinated or show a negative test that is within 72 hours of their visit. So if you are a two-shot vaccine, Moderna or Pfizer, you got to have both shots. If you are Johnson & Johnson, it's just one shot, you're good. Proof must be shown at every visit. So if I am a regular in your restaurant and I was in on a Monday and I came back on a Tuesday without my card, I don't qualify. I have to have it with me, or a picture, or whatever that means. Now, here's something that we have in common with gymnasiums is a gymnasium can keep a proof of vaccine or a recent COVID test on file, and you can use it without having to show it. If you as an operator want to hold on to a copy of someone's vaccine card to give them that kind of freedom, you're welcome to do so. You can do you. Also, ID is not required. So once someone shows you their proof of vaccine or a clean test, you just take them on their word. You cannot ask them for ID to prove that they are who they say they are. And I asked, what about employees? Are employees also mandated to be vaccinated or have a negative test? And the answer is no. This is a question I kind of parlayed over. I carrier pigeon from a lot of different operators. And the reason for that is because employees are already covered by different governing bodies like OSHA or Washington State's Department of Labor. And so those are going to be the sources for whatever that might mean. What constitutes proof of vaccine? A CDC vaccine card or a photo of a vaccine card. I have mine I took a picture of my front and back and keep it on my phone, make it easy to find, because God forbid they make a card that is the size of a driver's license that can fit in my wallet. And you're welcome to do that too. You can do a photocopy, just pretty much something that shows that you did the effort and you've got something that is official, even if it's a copy. Documented proof of vaccination or a negative test from your medical records or a vaccine or testing provider. Those can look like a lot of different things. I can't give you any real insight on what looks good and what doesn't. You're just going to have to use your best judgment. Proof of vaccine from another state or county works perfectly fine. You're good. A printed certificate or a digital record from an online categorical resource. The one that they mentioned was myirmobile.com. I know there's a handful of other apps that will also work. I don't know anything about these, but they seem to be official. So if somebody flashes something on your phone that you've never seen before, it's probably okay. It's probably not worth the conflict. Now, here's something that could be a conflict, and that is documentation of medical or religious exemptions are not acceptable forms of vaccine proof or testing proof. So there's going to be, there's a lot of emotional heat out there, and we're going to talk about how you can be best prepared for these circumstances. But somebody having a note from their priest that says that I don't have to have a vaccine because of religious reasons doesn't count as a vaccine card. What does enforcement look like? Well, in King County, enforcement doesn't look like much right now. Right now, King County is focused on education and outreach. They're working to develop a process for submitting complaints, defining egregious noncompliance, and building a compliance structure, but it's not in place yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if the same place was getting a lot of phone calls that somebody's probably going to come and find out what's going on over there. King County is providing resources, and again, I think that other counties or even the state, if we ever go there, are probably going to have they're probably going to take their blueprint straight from what King County's done. So there's a website, kcvaxverified.com, and on that website, and the link that I'll put in the show notes, you'll find a toolkit that will, go over all of the rules, even more than I talked about, give you training opportunities, different ways to be prepared, how you can communicate what you're doing on social media or with your workforce or with your clientele. There's scenario planning, so you can be better prepared, again, mostly for your workforce, but also how do you communicate this to your guests? And posters that you can slap up all over the place, whatever you feel is appropriate. And they're giving these away for free. Or you can download and print them in 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17. On this last slide, I'm going to show you what those things look like. First one is keep each other safe. That's the sign that you can get printed. Next picture over from that is a map that shows you all the different places that you can pick these things up and not pay for the printing or paper yourself. And you'll find everything that you're seeing here, you'll find on that website. And then there's the toolkit that's going to give you all of that extra information. So now I'm going to jump back to the camera, and we're going to wrap it up by talking about how you can be best prepared for this transition into this new thing. So I think the best thing that you could possibly do is really define where you stand on this. So if it's something that you embrace and you feel like this is a good thing and it is in line with a lot of your clientele, then know it. Know in a way that you can talk about it, and then talk about it with all of your frontline people. If you've got a restaurant that has a wait to be seated sign, I would focus a lot of your training and attention on your front desk, but don't leave your servers out of it. If it's a seat yourself, then make sure that all of your servers know this is how we stand on it. This is the regulation. For some of you, it's like, I'm just so tired of this, but I got to do it. It's a rule. It's just another rule. I'll figure it out. We'll go along with it. That's a stance too, and I would say take advantage of the political coverage. It's not you making this call. It's a call that's being made for you, and hopefully that will diffuse some hot personalities. But at the end of the day, the best way that you can prepare your staff is to have their backs. When this pent-up demand hit us earlier in this year, we got a lot of really frustrating experiences with our guests. There's a lot of emotional heat. There was a lot of conflict. I'd say whatever you can do to A, prepare your staff to diffuse that conflict, or B, be ready, give them permission to step away so that you can step in. Or maybe you can send a chef out from the back that's got a sharp knife and tattoos up his arm to intimidate these people out here. I don't think you should do that, but it's so super important for this newly refilling workforce. The paradigm broke, and we don't know what we're building into, but something that we do know is that a sense of community, a sense of belonging, and a sense of having your backness is going to be part of the industry moving forward. And this is a great opportunity to start to build cohesion and to show your people that you're going to prepare them for whatever may come, and you're going to have their back. I can't stress that enough. I hope that you agree with me. If you don't, again, you do you. I'm not I'm not a restaurant preacher. I'm just a restaurant advisor. And Derek feels the same way. We hope that this has been helpful for you. And I'm going to be including my email address and Derek's email address in the show notes as well. So if there's anything about this that you think one of us could provide a better dialogue with, or something else completely unrelated to this that you think we might be able to help you, you should totally give us a call, or I guess give us an email. At any rate, thanks for your time. Look forward to the next one. Cheers.